It's 10 trivia questions on Ohio State football, musicals, knitting, and more for Jim's birthday. Happy birthday, Jim. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Budds. Thanks for checking out the show, and happy birthday to my buddy, Jim. Jim, your good friend, Beth, reached out to me and said, hey, can you do a special birthday episode on things my friend Jim loves? And I said, sure can. So we've got a great episode on Ohio State football, musicals, knitting, and other fun things coming your way in just a second. But Beth wanted to share that she loves being your trivia partner in crime, Jim, and the whole family loves you, Bobo. So there you go. We've got a fun episode with things Jim loves and hopefully things you love too. If you like British TV shows, several questions about that today, something Jim and I share in common. I love British TV shows and am in the middle of the Great British Baking Show. I think we're almost actually all caught up. I think we're in the middle of the newest episode and digging that new season. Always have to get used to the contestants in the first couple episodes. And then I'm like, all right, I'm hooked. I get hooked pretty easy on that show. But we are going to jump into that fun episode and questions for Jim in just a second. I have a card for you called Things They Don't Teach You in School. Let's check this out. Which year, statistically speaking, is the most critical year in a marriage? Which year, statistically speaking, is the most critical year in a marriage? The answer is the 5th year, which is hopefully what you don't want to be in as a high school student. But in marriage, it's the most important to make it for the long haul. Next question, according to studies, which country's people are the least proud of their nationality? Oh, that's an interesting one. According to studies, it says Japan. The country of Japan have people that are least proud of their nationality. Your third question here, how much saliva on average do people produce in one day? That's pretty gross. Happy birthday with this one, Jim. It's 33 ounces. So, think of a 20-ounce soda bottle and then add 13 ounces of saliva to that. Get a nice, gross mental image in your head. And your last thing, what product is most stolen from supermarkets in Italy? That would be cheese, which I've heard worldwide is the most stolen thing. But specifically in Italy, it's Parmesan cheese. Parmesan, the most stolen thing from supermarkets in Italy. And there you have it, some fun, crazy, random facts before we jump into some questions on things Jim loves. We're going to do that right now. Here we go. Happy birthday, Bobo! All right, it's Jim's birthday. Beth says, let's celebrate Jim with these questions. Here's number one. In the late 1970s, what Ohio State Buckeye caught a pass in 48 straight games, setting an NCAA record? Number one, in the late 1970s, what Ohio State Buckeye caught a pass in 48 straight games, setting an NCAA record? Number one. Question two, in which Broadway musical does Jack sing, There Are Giants in the Sky? In which Broadway musical does Jack sing, There Are Giants in the Sky? Number three, in addition to the knit stitch, what is the second basing knitting stitch? In addition to the knit stitch, what is the most common or second basing knitting stitch? Basic knitting stitch, number three. Number four, in what country does the series Dairy Girls take place? In what country does the series Dairy Girls take place? Number five, the Buckeyes played in Ohio Stadium in 2002. What is the nickname of Ohio Stadium? The Buckeyes played in Ohio Stadium in 2002 and many other years. I think that's just where I took the question from. What is the nickname of Ohio Stadium? Number five. Number six, what creepy British series has episodes called The National Anthem, Million Merits, and the Entire History of You? National Anthem, Million Merits, and the Entire History of You. What creepy British show is that? Number seven, the acronym 2AAT stands for what in the world of knitting? The acronym 2AAT stands for what in the world of knitting? Question number 8. Who did Ohio State face on October 1st, 2022? Number 8. Who did Ohio State face on October 1st, 2022? Number 9. What are the first names of the two main male characters on the IT Crowd? Number 9. What are the first names of the two main male characters on the IT Crowd? And number 10, in knitting, what does the I stand for in an I chord? What does the I stand for in an I chord? Number 10. Those are all of your birthday questions. Jim, I hope you had a fun time playing along with those, and maybe you got a 10 out of 10. We're going to be right back in just a second to verify those answers after this. We are back with the answers to Jim's birthday quiz for today from his good friend Beth, his trivia partner in crime. They crush it when it comes to all things knowledgeable. And I bet today was no different. Here are those answers to your questions. Jim, number 1, in the late 1970s, what Ohio State Buckeye caught a pass in 48 straight games, setting an NCAA record? That was Gary Williams. Gary Williams. Number 2, in which Broadway musical does Jack sing There Are Giants in the Sky? That would be Into the Woods. Into the Woods. Number 3, in addition to the knit stitch, the second basic knitting stitch is purl. P-U-R-L, purl stitch. Number 4, in what country does the series Dairy Girls take place? Northern Ireland. We've got like 3 episodes left in the whole series. They only did 3 seasons, but the newest season just came out like last week on Netflix in the U.S. Dairy Girls, very funny show, Northern Ireland. Number 5, the Buckeyes played in Ohio Stadium in 2002 and beyond and before. What is the nickname of Ohio Stadium? The Shoe. The Shoe. If the shoe fits, wear it. Number 6, what creepy British series has episodes called The National Anthem, Million Merits, and The Entire History of You? I've seen all 3 of those. Black Mirror. Black Mirror. Super weird. Number 7, the acronym 2AAT is 2 at a time in the world of knitting. 2 at a time. You get these knitting books, these books with plans for knitting and patterns and things, and you might see that acronym 2AAT. There are a lot of knitting acronyms to shorten things up for those books if you want to give that a Google search. Lots of knitting terms out there. Number 8, who did Ohio State face on October 1st, 2022? I believe this was their homecoming game. Rutgers University, Rutgers. Number 9, what was the first name of the two main characters on the IT Crowd? Roy and Moss. Roy and Moss. Number 10, in knitting, what does the I stand for in an I chord? That's an idiot chord. So easy, an idiot can pull it off. And there you have it, 10 questions on knitting and musicals and British shows and Ohio State football. Quite the plethora of things that you like, Jim, and I hope you had a good time playing along today. Beth and the whole family love you, Bobo. All right, that is today's episode. Hope you had a good time playing along and celebrating Jim. Your fact of the day is the citizens of Serbia smoke more than any country in the world. Hey, Serbia, take it easy on the smokes. We want you here longer. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend. Thanks for celebrating a friend with a $25 donation on Venmo or PayPal. Just email ryanbuds@gmail.com with some things that person loves, and I'll make sure that episode comes out on the day that you want it. And we'll see you next time for more trivia with Buds. Cheers!